Welcome back to the show, everybody. All the game players seem to wait for September because that's when the big releases are.
It's true.
Yes.
And summer was a wasteland, according to Scott Jones and Victor Lucas of Reviews on the Run. We're going to talk about some games. How are you, fellas?
Very good.
Victor, was wasteland your word or Scott?
No, it's Scott's word, but he's
why
right.
wasteland? Why was summer a wasteland?
I had a big release this morning.
Did you? Do you feel better?
It always gets to that. Hey,
You know,
we got 5 minutes into this.
This is the thing. The video game industry is what, 40, 50 years old now, and we
Maybe
still
40.
Everyone waits for like a 6-week window in September and October.
It's 3 months, man.
Everything.
I know.
Look, I'm tired today. I've had like 9 cups of coffee. I was up at 6 in the morning playing Gears of War 3. I went to bed at midnight last night.
Is everybody crying at home?
You pour.
It's like being an ice cream taster.
Question: did they do this out of tradition, or is there a reason?
They want
back
sales.
to school?
Well, they think that the audience out there will only care about video games in this quarter, but what happens is that so many game developers rush to get these games out during this time period, and so much is forgotten. And there's big mistakes, you know, like the wrong titles are released in this quarter. One of them was created right here, Space Marine. It's going up against Gears of War 3. They're almost identical in terms of their gameplay.
That's not a game you really want to go up against,
I
from
know.
my limited knowledge. Tell us about Gears of War 3.
It's a huge monster of a game. It's a blockbuster filled with Hollywood-style production values.
Look at that. Oh, man.
You kill all kinds of stuff in this game. You are going to be wasting so many bad guys.
Scott, this is what you were playing till midnight last night?
Yeah, he's playing right now. Look, he's got his hands on
I
like
don't
this.
die, though. I don't
He's
die.
like trying to play it.
The game stars a guy with the thickest neck in video game history. Look at the neck on that guy. His name's Marcus Phoenix. This is his 3rd game. He wears a do-rag. He goes through the whole thing. He
Never takes the do-rag off.
What I love is that you talk about him like he's real.
He is real. After 3 games,
He's very real.
I have spent more time with this man than I've spent in certain relationships with some ladies.
It's basically him and me.
I'm just going to take a
true,
guess
right?
that you guys both love this game.
We can't talk about it
Doesn't
yet.
come out
We're
till
under,
next Tuesday.
Yeah, we're under an embargo.
Although we have played it.
We have played a lot of it, and
we do have opinions.
We're still smiling.
By the
And it's very
grunting
good.
from Scott's corner, I'm going to just guess that
By the
it's
fact that he
okay.
actually started twitching when it came on,
it's very pretty. It's a very cool.
I got to
game.
tell you, you know, I'm American. I'm half Canadian now. Ameridian. I don't know what you call it.
All right.
I was in a taco shack the other day with
Camerican.
kids, and you know, the U.S. Open is going on. Baseball season, football. You guys have hockey on. You guys are obsessed with your hockey here.
Yeah.
NHL
You're in
12
Canada.
made here at EA Sports.
Yeah.
And they've made over 300 gameplay improvements this year. But I'll be darned if
One of them is the helmets fly off of the guys when you hit them.
you can also.
just like real life.
If you're a
They
goalie,
call it full impact physics.
Well, if you're a goalie, you can get into fights this year.
Yep.
And it does seem like they've retooled the physics engine a little bit, so the bigger guys, you position them in front of the nets, and they're going to knock over smaller guys.
What I like about this is that they've managed to coordinate a increasing level of violence with a decreasing level of violence in the actual game.
Yes.
Right? Like you got to
So
bump
it's
it
not
up
like real life.
in the real. And this has a Legends element.
Yeah,
Like
that's
you can,
the coolest thing, and they're really kind of taking the page from NBA 2K11 last year, which starred Michael Jordan, was a total sensation in sports video games. And so this year you can play as all kinds of hockey
You got
legends, which
Jeremy
is super
Roenick,
fun.
you got
Gordie
Chelios,
Gordie.
you got,
Wayne Gretzky.
Of course, Wayne Gretzky's in there, but
Yep.
it doesn't have, you know, he and I talked about this. We reviewed the game, came out last week, and it just doesn't, you know, it's had so many special years.
Yeah.
This year just didn't feel
Doesn't feel
as special.
It's
not as
I think it
special?
will to the purists, to the hockey fanatics out there. The improvements will be really cool, and of course it has the incredibly robust online multiplayer functionality.
Of course, the only thing I've ever done with that game is try and make the Sedines fight each other.
Yeah, of course.
And it doesn't work.
I have a feeling what we can do is take this last conversation and re-edit it and just put Madden.
Actually,
in
Madden
there.
was a bigger surprise this
It's
year.
had a kind of a couple of soft years, kind of a couple of off years, and this year they've got 3-dimensional grass. I mean, it gets ridiculous. When, you know,
They have
There's a-
3-dimensional grass.
They really
300 improvements in NHL, 900 billion in Madden, I think.
For sure. You can feel them working, though, and it feels fun this year. You and I both agreed that we never agree on anything. This year, it's fun to play.
It's the running
again.
game. The running
Visually,
game
it
is
does
fun.
look amazing, though, what
it's
they've
incredible.
done with it. It's incredible.
They're using fisheye lenses. It's like they've gone to a broadcast company to kind of create like off-the-shoulder type maneuvers.
Interesting that you say the running game is fun because that's where they've always struggled, I think, in most of the football games.
I've played every iteration, and this year it was super fun. It reminded me of the old Sega Genesis. Genesis years. It
Now,
was
an
really cool.
early candidate for Victor's Game of the Year, this is surprising to me, is Deus Ex Human Revolution.
Why is this surprising to you?
Well, I don't know.
You read a lot of email in this game, and that really bores
You spend a lot of
Scott.
time at headquarters.
Yeah, because it's all infiltration.
Everybody's talking about it on Reddit.
Listen,
Everybody's sort of all about it.
I don't even want to read email of real people, let alone email of fake people in a video game. But that's you
Why do
spend
you have
hours.
to look at it? Why do you have to read emails? You've got a gun.
Well, it's a mystery that you're solving. There's all kinds of conspiracies. It's set, 30 years in the future, and you're sort of this security guy that has to go in and kind of figure out what's happening. All of these humans have been augmented with biotechnology.
We sound like eggheads.
But it's
egghead
it's super trippy.
Suddenly we're eggheads.
You know what I love about it is there's a lot of choice in the game. It's a very smart game, and you can go in all kinds of divergent paths.
You can be good, you can be the victor, or you can be bad. You can be the Scott.
Yeah, and it's such a difference from Gears of War 3, which is just shoot first and then shoot again and keep shooting.
Scott
and just
is mocking you behind your back. He totally was.
He mocks me beside me every day.
Resistance 3 is the next one we're queuing
Well, this
up.
is from a game called this is from a developer called Insomniac Games, based in California. They made the Ratchet and Clank series. This is obviously the third installment and the end of the trilogy. And I think I didn't like the second game in the trilogy. You're fighting against an alien horde. It's a first-person shooter as opposed to Gears of War, which is more of a third-person action game.
It looks like the Cloverfield monster.
And,
kind of.
One of the cool things about the game is in every first-person shooter, if you just take cover, you can sort of recover your health. Here, you have to actually find health packs in order to sustain your life.
Throwback.
Yeah, a little bit of a throwback. I liked it though.
It is fun, and the story's kind of cool,
You
and the
sound
multiplayer is good.
about it though.
I was expecting more, for the third iteration.
You never met on things.
For the finish of the trilogy, you want them to really throw everything at it,
Absolutely.
right?
You want it to be completely blow my mind. And actually, my favorite shooter so far this year is still Crysis 2, which came out earlier.
We're not talking about Crysis 2 today.
He's just
He's still talking.
Okay, let's talk about Driver San Francisco.
The Driver series came out in the late 90s on the PlayStation 1. It was one of my favorite driving games of all time. I will never forget the times we had together. And then the series fell on hard times for a long time, and finally it's back to kind of restored its glory.
Ubisoft picked up the franchise, and they're working with the original developers, Reflections, out of the UK. They make the best driving games out of the UK, and I'm sorry to EA because they make the Need for Speed game here locally, but just incredible driving games out of there. And this one is super cool. You're actually in the mind of the main character, and you're bouncing around.
Does he have a thick neck?
No. He has a very thin neck, like me and Vic. We have thin necks.
That's right. And he actually he gets hurt, and you're in a coma at the beginning of the game. So they have this really kind of trippy kind of gameplay element.
Like in Terminator, where he can shift into different people, you shift in this game from different kinds of vehicles.
And the mechanics are super tight.
And by shift, you mean like levitate within the game?
You possess different drivers.
It's whacked out, man. But it's a great story, especially for a driving game. You don't
they don't usually invest much in the story.
No, usually just run over people.
But Grand Theft Auto changed all that.
Yeah.
You want to know more. Yeah.
But Jetpack Joyride is a game that everyone should download.
This one's
what is this?
Right?
99 cents, and it's ridiculous. You press the screen with one finger, and you try to avoid all of that carnage, and you just try to get as far as you possibly can.
All you do is tap the screen, make Scott guy in the air, and you collect coins, and suddenly there's jangles and jingles and things flying all over the place, and slot machines are going. I mean, you will not be able to put this down.
It's all about achievements.
Don't download. I dare you to download it. You won't be into work tomorrow. Hello, this is Mike. I can't come in tomorrow.
Can I borrow 99 cents?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Sounds like Angry Birds, that it might be the ultimate time waster.
But it's a little bit more violent than that, and I think it's sort of attracting a little bit more of a hardcore gaming crowd. But the thing about it is the leaderboard challenges. You'll play against your friends, and everybody that you know will be competing to get as far as they can in the game. It's really well made.
We'll both download it, and we'll compete against
it. Yeah, that would be so fun.
And I will feed you your lunch.
Speaking of Angry Birds.
You guys, thank you for talking about your September releases. Or do we have time for the last two, too?
Sure.
Yeah.
We are in unprecedented
We're
territory.
going to finish a list.
To finish the list of things that we actually had, because
we usually talk too much.
What
are we doing wrong?
One thing that Sony's done in the last couple of years that I like a lot is they've taken some of their PlayStation 2 classics and they have up-res them to high definition, and they've repackaged them and sold them at a budget price. You can pick up icon Echo and Shadow of the Colossus, which are two of the best games ever made. You can pick them up for $40. They're PlayStation 2 titles.
Yeah.
But they look terrific. They're stereoscopic.
Yeah, they're
kind of re-renderings.
Shadow of the Colossus is actually in 3D, so if you have a 3D TV, you can turn it on in 3D.
Oh my God, next level. Okay,
But
God of War Oranges.
I just realized it's different.
Yeah.
Scott's actually staying on point today.
I know.
He's moving this along.
He's not throwing feces.
Yeah, you're actually moving
I
the
don't
conversation
feel great today. I'll be honest with you. I don't feel.
Is it because you had an early release this morning?
It was too early with Gears of War.
Sometimes the early release really dampens the day.
It can.
Okay, really quick, God of War Origins.
Kratos,
same thing. It's another
It's
repackaging of 2 PSP games that have been upconverted to HD for the PS3.
Kratos, one of the best video game characters ever created. He's so angry, just like I am, and he just kicks ass through this thing from start to finish. If you're a God of War fan, if you're a third-person action fan, you got to buy this. It's $40. It's awesome.
Yeah, both of the packages are $40 for the PS3.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. Of course, you can watch Scott and Vic on Reviews on the Run. We're going to take a quick break, and when we return.